Hi there. Let's start part 3 with a recap. There's an invisible statue outside Grand Central Terminal. It's of Commodore Vanderbilt. His first boat was named Swiftsure. He built the world's largest steamship line. He then sold every ship to go into railroads. He closed his railroad bridge, and the New York Central Railroad was born. He was worth about $250 billion of today's dollars. He built New York City's Grand Central Depot on 42nd and Park. Its train shed kept people dry as they visited. Later, they doubled the building size and called it a station. The smoky train yard remained and later got buried. There are 2 levels, one above the other. They're part of the 3rd Grand Central, the terminal. It was and is magnificent, sometimes filled with sunshine, always proud of its lights, electric, home to the world's most famous train, with a magnificent restaurant, I've eaten there, and secrets like the Whispering Gallery. Been there, done that. And at least one secret staircase I've walked up it. 2 tennis courts with room for 6. And a maybe secret Mr. Campbell's apartment. A very secret underground basement. Now, here's more of the story. Grand Central was the jewel of Terminal City with a train yard under Park Avenue. The Central's headquarters was the last and biggest of Terminal City's buildings. Headquarter arches look like railroad tunnels. They're for cars to drive through. It's behind Grand Central Terminal with the baggage building between them. The baggage building is also behind the terminal. The headquarters here isn't built yet. By the way, in the late 1950s, a skyscraper replaced the baggage building. 3 million square feet and helicopters, the world's largest commercial building. The building size made it hated, even beveled to make it look smaller. It's now the MetLife building. Doesn't change how big it is. New York Central's once headquarters is now the Helmsley building. Terminal City had other buildings like hotels, big ones. The Biltmore had a private passage into Grand Central. By the way, Henry Ford tried to broker an end to World War I from the Biltmore. Half of America's cars were black Tin Lizzies. They chose that paint because it dried faster for the assembly line. Cars ended the golden age of trains. But while it lasted, they built a bigger hotel directly connected to Grand Central, the Roosevelt. Guy Lombardo's famous New Year's Eve broadcast came from there. And now, after almost 100 years, the hotel is closed. COVID-19. Will it be forgotten? We remember President Roosevelt didn't shoot Teddy's bear in 1902. The biggest of the hotels was right next door to Grand Central, the Hotel Commodore. It was supposed to have the world's most beautiful lobby. I don't know. Renovated. Now it's a Hyatt. But, and there's always a but, people still go to conventions like they did to 1911's Grand Central Palace, one of the first buildings put up. I love this picture. A building atop a rail yard. Grand Central Palace became a hospital during World War I. Then it went back to hosting conventions. Here's 1929's car show. 500,000 civilians became soldiers here in World War II. It's 1967. The 13-story convention center was torn down. 48-story office building went up. 245 Park Avenue. The train tracks are still underneath. But even taller, right across from 42nd Street, there's the original Lincoln Building. It was renamed One Grand Central Place after massive renovations. It still houses the original 3-ton bronze model of the Lincoln Memorial. To GCT's east is a favorite of mine, the Art Deco Chrysler Building. Iconic. It was the world's tallest building for about 10 months, and it saw its architect sued and destroyed. Another building I worked in, right next to the train yard, 59 stories of Citigroup. A student found an engineering floor after it had been built. Thank God, it would literally have fallen down. Here's the rest of the story with the great Pennsylvania Station in it. Penn Station opened first in 1910. It was magnificent, even though it's only half Grand Central size. I don't have anything to say here. Just look. Oh my Lord. This one too. Inspired by the Roman baths, one entered the city like a god. But, and here's another but, in the 1950s, Penn Station sold its air rights because it had financial problems. They tore down everything above the ground. Everything. Architectural vandalism. Sad. The entrance before and after. I worked there. 2 Penn Plaza, 6th floor. The train level, platform 6, without the wonderful ceiling. One scuttles in now like a rat. Vin Scully said that, not me. New York Central also had huge financial problems. It owned air rights too, though. Mrs. Kennedy led the opposition to ripping it down. I love the quote by Ada Louise Huxtable. We will be judged not by the monuments we erect, but by those we tear down. You know, using the airspace was not a new idea. An 18-story tower was proposed way back in 1902. In 1956, I.M. Pei proposed the world's tallest building get built there, 108 stories. The effort to save Grand Central led to a lot of work, like cleaning the windows. The windows are really passageways. I've walked through them. The original ceiling was badly damaged by water and mold. Then in the 90s, they cleaned its replacement. They left one spot uncleaned to remember. Some parts of the sky are backwards. No one knows why. A hole in the ceiling remembers a Redstone rocket answering the Soviet Sputnik. The waiting room wound up as a place for homeless to sleep. The benches got removed. The floor in Vanderbilt Hall still remembers the feet that sat there. They added a food market on the ground floor. You can really eat well there. But 14 stories down, they're building a station to link Long Island, Penn Station, and Grand Central. It's got 2 levels of stations. Let's go outside. Right across Vanderbilt is the newest addition, 1,401 feet tall. Here's another one, 98 floors, 1,500 feet tall. I don't know if it belongs in this presentation, but it's nearby and it's a wow. My name is Mike, and I hope you've enjoyed Grand Central Terminal. I learn a lot from making each video, like those on railroads. Let me ask you to subscribe, but And here's the last but. Most importantly, help others because it helps you. It does.
Thank you.